Are live. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the 63rd episode of Playtest This. Tonight, we have Sam Barmettler joining us, bringing us a new version of an old game. I guess it's still a new game, technically. Um, and on our very special panel of specialists that are very special, we have several returning guests. Matthew, why don't you introduce yourself to the gang?
So I assume that's me. Hi,
That
my
is
name
you.
is Matt Kambick. I didn't know if there was another Matthew. I've been working on a game licensed to Krill and looking to kickstart it somewhere in the middle of the year this year.
Awesome. Sasha.
Hello, I'm Sasha Jelton. I'm a designer in Portland. I love teaching board game designs to middle schoolers and elementary school kids, and I have several designs that I'm working on. The only one I've had on the show is my pigeon game, Dovecote. But yeah, that's me.
Welcome. Eric.
Hi, Eric Ledger here. I'm a designer in Sacramento. I run the Sacramento Board Game Designers Meetup. I've had two games on the show. They're in various stages of development. And in my day job, I do law stuff.
Yep. Legal stuff. And then our very special designer guest is Samuel Barmettler. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
Hey, I'm Samuel Barmettler. I run Around the Stump Games LLC. One game under my belt and currently out in the world, Outrun the Bear, and this is hopefully title number 2. We'll see whether or not these playtesters decide for me to just burn the whole thing to the ground or if I should just keep on working on it.
And you can only find out if you watch the exciting conclusion of today's episode. Is it is it a dumpster fire or is it good? Okay. Well, let's. Oh, wait. What about me? What about me? I'm Evan Halbert, designer of After the Empire, which you should go source 15 copies and buy them all today, and then get 46 more copies
There we
because
go.
the number has to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And then I have a bunch of other things coming out. Well, not a bunch, several other things coming out over the next several years, and you should buy all of those things as well, because that's awfully a nice thing to do to support your local game designers. Um, Sam, why don't you run us through and give us the teach?
All right. So this is Button Kingdoms. This is a retheme of a game that I brought on to playtest this previously. The previous playtest, it was called Merc Kingdoms. It was actually the game's first playtest ever was live streamed here.
Love it.
So hopefully things are better now. The game did play all the way through to the end before. So I'm hoping to assess whether or not the game is good enough to start investing money into. So Button Kingdoms, the goal of the I should have left my paper in front of me. So Button Kingdoms is a deck building battler where the cards have no cost. Instead, it works off of a bribery system with the open market, and the whole game is simultaneous play. So the goal of the game is to build up victory points in the form of other players' thrones, which you get by last hitting them, buttons, which is the currency in the game, and also by completing your champion's personal objective, living up to that character's ideals. Currently, the game's going through the retheme. Right now, we do still have the Merc Kingdoms placeholder art. We do not have the Button Kingdoms art. So there may be some disjointedness there with what I'm talking about with the theme, but that's okay. That's just something that's along in the process. This is playtest probably 22 for the game. So the game's going to follow some very similar deck building concepts that you're probably familiar with. Once you run out of your deck of cards, you end up shuffling your discard, and that becomes a new deck of cards. You're constantly buying cards from the market, which you end up building up your deck and trying to manipulate that deck in a way that is beneficial to you. The game's going to play out in a series of phases. Those phases are all referenced on your reference cards that you'll see in your hand. Let me, as my color, I cannot tab. Okay. Well, that's fun. And technical difficulties. All right, so the first step of the first step in a round is going to be drawing 6 cards in your hand, +1 for each card draw bonus that you will have gained. You can gain those card draw bonuses by doing a certain amount of damage to other players. Then we will go into the phase 1 where you play any number of the cards that you have from your hand, but you'll notice each one of these cards has 2 abilities on it. If you look at the cards in your deck, you see a blue top ability and then a red bottom ability. So when you play your cards in phase 1, you will only get that top blue ability. Then we'll go into the market phase. Now, the market phase is the most complex part of this game because it is a bribery-based market. So what will happen during that phase is you can place out bids by placing them onto the color that matches your player color. So Matthew, he's blue, he would place a bid there. Eric, he's green, he would place a bid on the green. Sasha's red, or no, Evan's red, he'd place it on the red, and Sasha would place it on the purple. For the card that's in that slot. Now you can place any number of buttons that you have in your possession, and you'll get those buttons by playing out cards. Most of the buttons will come in during the phase 1 of card play, but you'll continue to accumulate buttons throughout the game, giving you larger and larger piles for these bids on the cards in the market. The other thing that you can do during the market phase is you can conspire by attempting to accept one of the bribes that's offered out there for the card. What that means is you're going to take one of these bribe tokens. Here's an example of one. They're currently in a bag because they'll be randomly dealt out to you guys. And place it on top of that card. Now, what you're doing when you say that is you're saying there is a bribe out there that you think is worth you taking those buttons to give the person who offered that bribe that card. Now, why would you do that? Because those buttons are going to be worth victory points at the end of the game. So getting more of them, good for you. You're getting some victory points, they're getting a card. But you'll notice there's a number on each one of these. So what happens is after you try to conspire, we have to immediately resolve that card that's in the market. So the way that we do that is you can compete by tossing out a larger bribe token to bump off one that another player put on there. In doing this, you would be saying that you're willing to take those bribe token, or you're willing to take the buttons out there and give a player a card. Once no one else is going to bump anyone, no one else is going to compete for that bribe, then what ends up happening is you have to resolve that bribe. Now, you can do that in one of 2 ways. You either accept one of the bribes that's out there from another player, or you can accept your own bribe so long as it's the largest bribe that's on that card. But when you do that, you're going to end up trashing that card and getting rid of your buttons. So that's how you can clear out cards from the deck. Say there's a very valuable card that everybody wants and you don't want anybody to have it, you can just sacrifice some victory points in order to be able to get rid of that card. After
That was all the conspire action, right?
This is all a series of things going on because of the conspire action. So as soon as somebody conspires, we got to resolve that whole card right there. It'll end with eventually nobody's willing to put out a higher bribe token. If nobody's willing to put out a higher bribe token, then the person who has the bribe token on there gets to decide, am I accepting my own bribe, which has to be the highest bribe, or am I accepting somebody else's bribe? At that point, the card that was on the market or in the market will end up being sent to the orientation of the player whose bribe was accepted, or to the trash heap if you accepted your own bribe. And then we continue on with this market phase. This market phase ends once one player has used up all of their bribe tokens. Once again, this is all simultaneous play. So people are placing out bribes, people are placing out bribe tokens, all kind of free for all there. So after you've resolved that and given somebody the card, taking your own bribe token back, you'll end up flipping your bribe token over, and that one's exhausted for that phase. It sounds kind of convoluted as I explain it right now. That's just because I haven't had a chance to explain it for a few weeks, but you'll see it actually moves through kind of easily once you guys go through your first round. So once one player has exhausted all of their bribe tokens, and you'll start with 3, so then we'll end up moving on to phase 2. Or no, we end up moving on to the orientation phase. Now, each one of these cards has a symbol in the top left-hand corner. You've got the little green Robin Hood cap. Those are the peasants. You've got the horseshoe. Those are the beasts. The crown. Those are the courtiers. The little hooded guy, he's the spies, and the purse is the privateers. Depending on what type of faction they are, they'll actually go to a different spot. They'll either go to the, well, just look at your reference card to see where they go. After we've dealt out all those cards that came in during the market phase and are now on your orientation spot, we will move on to phase 2. During phase 2, you play out the rest of the cards from your hand, resolve their abilities, the red ability, that bottom ability. And then the last thing we do is we deal out damage. And damage is dealt out. All of the damage that you gain during phase 2, you deal to one singular player. From there, everything else is just details that are on the cards that should hopefully all be kind of self-explanatory. And after the attack phase, we just reset. Make enough sense? Convoluted enough?
We'll see.
All right. So
5 card hands? Sorry.
So
6
you
cards.
start with 6 card hands. But the first thing we're going to need to do is each of you guys are going to need to draw 3 bribe tokens from this bribe tokens bag here.
Is it auto shuffle?
Doesn't sound like it. That works. Should we lock the bag so we don't keep accidentally grabbing it?
You can just hover over and hit 3. If,
Yeah, I did, but someone else's hand was there.
Ah.
There we go.
All right, so a couple details about the numbers on the top left-hand corner. One, those numbers do end up, higher numbers allow you to bump other people during or when it comes to accepting those bribes. But also the total number that you have there represents your initiative in case 2 abilities have the same trigger in effect, in case it matters whether you resolve your ability before another player. And when it comes to the attack phase, that will determine your initiative too. So
what
like
They
right
be kept
now,
hidden or are they revealed?
they are revealed. They should be out and open.
Oh, these buttons are revealed.
Yeah.
Or the bribe.
Yeah.
over.
Right now, Matthew has the highest initiative, and if there's ever a tie in the total, then it's the highest singular.
Wow,
So
12, and then you did so bad. 0-0.
Wow.
Evan, Eric, and Sasha. And we'll fill up
Did
the
you say
market.
the range of numbers? Or did I miss it?
It is 0 through 12.
Okay, so that represents the highest and lowest for Evan. Okay.
How many zeros are there?
There are
Probably
3
3.
zeros.
Okay.
There's at least 3.
No more left.
Yeah.
Apparently, I did not save putting the points at the right spot, so I will delete some of those.
And
Okay, so
do we all start
now
with a card? I noticed one of our cards are face down and some are face up.
Yeah, so one other step that we have to take here for the setup is so anyone who scored a lower initiative, they get to get rid of some of their starting cards. So that would be Sasha has the lowest, so you actually get to get rid of 3 cards from your starting deck, 3 of those
Okay.
peasant cards. They'll be returned to the deck. Second lowest is Eric. He gets to get rid of 2, and Evan gets to get rid of 1.
What am I doing?
I do get to look at my cards, although I don't get to get rid of any, right? I get to look at them.
Yeah. Yep. Evan, you can get rid of one of the cards in your starting deck.
I'm not sure which ones I'm gonna regret getting rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do
I have to get
walls
rid
do?
of 3.
So walls and tolls are both fortifications. Walls make it so when you're attacked, you take 2 less damage. And tolls make it so if somebody attacks you, they have to pay you 1 button per each wall that you have out there. Sorry, I'm just deleting some snap points here that I forgot to save. Sorry about that.
So 2 squires, 2 soldiers, and then and then 2 farmers, and then the rest are unique.
You should have 2 of each of them.
Okay.
You got 10 total cards.
Yeah.
I see it now. Yep.
Hmm.
Then do I shuffle my deck and put it face down?
Yep. Yep. And you've got a deck spot on your board. The other thing is each one of you should have 2 of these champions. And you get to select one of those champions. This is going to represent the character that you're playing as. Each one has a special one-time ability during the game. And also has a hidden victory point objective. So they do things like one of them gives you a whole bunch of fortifications and then ends up actually scoring points based on how many fortifications your deck can build. At the end of the game, another one is all about getting as many cards in the trash heap as possible. Another is, oh yeah, and those are hidden. So make sure if you pull them out of your hand, you flip them upside down on the champions.
And you can forego the grandfather bonus by revealing the card and taking immediately the bonus as depicted on the bottom, right?
So you're not actually giving up that top bonus when you do that, but what you're doing is you're telling everyone else that doing those things gains you victory points.
Okay.
So you've got this hidden victory point objective, but you do a powerful one-time ability, and then everybody else kind of knows, hey, these cards are more valuable to you, or yeah. And then once you've selected your champion, just place it face down in the champion spot on your board.
Face down.
What?
Okay.
Is there I don't see a peasant card.
The peasants are all your starting cards are peasants. They've got the icon with the green Robin Hood cap.
I see.
You've got the GM, so you can see my hand. The one on the right that I'm putting the arrow on. About how many distribution-wise would I expect to find of that type of thing?
They are one of 5 factions.
Okay.
So they should represent about 20%. But also the way that yours works, it's having unique card titles. So yours does cap out with how many possible points you could get.
Right. At first read, this is a blind read, but it sounds more powerful than the left one. Because because I can't imagine farming that one too much, but we'll see. So I'll get rid of that one. Where
Okay.
does it go when we discard it? To the trash heap?
Oh, whoops. What did the card I put here supposed to go in the trash heap?
No. We are missing one card, but I'm sure we'll see that when it turns up.
So our starting cards that we trashed, they go into this deck? Or where do the starting cards that we are getting rid of go?
Those that you trashed end up going into the market deck. Or
Okay.
yeah, you didn't trash them. Those that
Yeah.
you didn't. So this would be Evan has 9. Eric should have 8.
And then
Salsa.
the champion that I'm not doing goes face down here.
Yep.
Where did I put my? Did somebody?
I already
Okay.
put it away.
Perfect.
I'll try to handle some of the nitty gritty TTS stuff. All right. So gameplay begins with each of you guys drawing 6 cards in your hand. And if you just hover over your deck and press 6, it's the easiest way to do it. Unless you already had a card or 2 in your hand.
Okay.
So Matt, I think this furthest one, because you got 7 in your hand right now.
Oh, I have
should
my VP card.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So you've got a champion spot on your board that you can put it in.
Oh, I have to reveal that now. Or
You
no,
don't
I keep it
reveal
face
it,
down.
yeah.
I just put it on the board in a dedicated spot. Got it. Okay.
Cool. All right, so you've completed the draw phase. Now you move into phase 1. You can play any number of the cards in your hand, but you only get their top ability. You'll play those out in front of you face down because this is all simultaneous play. Once everybody's played out their cards, you'll end up flipping them over face up.
Is there any reason why I wouldn't want to play all of them?
Because you will not draw again before phase 2. So the cards you don't play will be used for the attack phase.
Oh, for the red, okay.
It's kind of like viticulture when you have the 2 seasons and you can't spend all your workers in one and hope to do anything in winter.
Or can't I?
Okay.
You play them out face down, Evan.
What's that?
You play them out face down.
Very well.
But
Another question. Why would I want to gain damage?
that just means that's the damage that you're going to deal in the next phase. I've had somebody comment on that
I'm
before.
actually dealing. All right, I'm dealing damage to another player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Where do I put them? Is it orientation?
Yeah, just put them out in front of you. No. Yeah.
Oops. No one saw that.
All right, and then once everybody's good, you guys can reveal them.
When do these cards go to the discard?
As soon as you finish resolving their effects here.
And do we resolve the effects one at a time?
Yes.
Okay. So
Well,
like if I was to draw
stuff.
draw a card when I have no cards in my deck and no cards in my discard currently, like can I resolve one card, have it go to the discard, and then play another card that draws me a card to then draw that card?
No. So they go to the discard after everything's resolved.
So you said this phase is simultaneous, right?
Yep. Everything is simultaneous except
Okay.
for the attack phase doesn't really
Okay.
feel simultaneous.
So
So
they
just
go
to-
into my discard. I'm gaining a wall.
So I get
Just
4
do that.
buttons and a card, right?
Yep. Oh, by the way, your buttons are here. They are 1s, 5s, and 10s. That is an I, a V, and an X, not 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Oops.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's like
I
a
will-
little delay, so just got to go a little slower.
Okay. I gain a toll. What is it? How do I gain a toll? Is that the backside of the fortification?
Yeah. Tolls are fortifications. Fortifications are just those cards, and they are all double-sided.
The
And
card I
there
gain
is,
is. Oh, sorry.
the tolls are currently worded wrong. They have to pay you one button, not two buttons.
For the squires where we destroy the card to take the top card of the deck, we're doing it simultaneous, so whoever gets there first just takes the card.
So that's where the initiative matters.
Okay.
So
So
What's my initiative?
12?
yours is 12.
that good?
Eric's is 11.
Lower initiative goes first, I think, as like priority.
Higher.
Higher has
Yeah.
priority.
So do I go first? Is that correct?
Matthew would go first if he had a squire.
Does
But I
he have a
don't.
squire?
Okay.
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 And the
so
card I
then-
draw is from my
Evan.
my own
So
draw
I'll
pile,
go
right?
first. So the squire, I destroy the card and take the top market deck card.
Yep.
That's this guy.
Yep. And taking a card will put it in your orientation. Yeah.
And so having low initiative is only good for setup, or
Having
there-
low initiative is good for setup and also sometimes when it comes to last hitting, depending on how you build
Okay.
it up. But there are things there are cards that will allow you to manipulate your initiative.
And now that I have done the squire, he goes to here or
The
to
trash heap.
here.
The trash heap.
Which one's the trash heap?
it's not a pile yet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. All right. Is anybody else doing squire?
I am, but I have the lowest initiative, so I'm going last.
All right. All right. So I'm going to do squire next. I'm doing it 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm killing 2 of these for the next 2 cards off of here, right?
Yep.
And do these immediately come into play?
They
go
go
into
into
my-
your orientation.
All right.
Anytime a card is acquired, it'll go into orientation.
All right.
And-
I'm gonna throw them in my hand just to look at them really quick. I want to see what I pulled, right?
Yeah, you can look at them.
And what is orientation? Sorry,
That is cards there will be distributed to different places depending on what faction they come from.
orientation is, and when does orientation happens after market phase?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So also, when I play a card that draws a card, the new card that I drew, can I play that for the same phase?
No.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of 2 squires and do the same thing. My hand sort of moved like I was getting new cards, but I guess I didn't. Oh, wait.
Oh,
one
you did.
came.
Yeah.
Oh, another one's. Oh, okay, it is being laggy.
How do we gain
let me
the
actually look
toll?
at these first.
So
It was
see
a
how
card. Bandit.
Yeah, so gaining a toll is just the fortification cards. The fortification cards are all double-sided. Walls on one side, tolls on the other. You just place it
Okay.
in front of
Okay.
Is
can have-
orientation face up?
you. Fortifications. Yeah.
And we don't have any buttons yet, right?
I've got 4.
Unless you played a
Unless you play a
cards that got
hanky
you.
button.
Yeah.
All right, and then after you've resolved all your cards, you just move them to the discard section.
Mhm.
And then we move on to the Button Bazaar phase, the market phase. So at this point, you can place out offerings of buttons that you're willing to pay for a card by just placing it on the same color that matches your kingdom's color. You can place any number of buttons on any one of the cards that are out there. If somebody eventually places out a bribe that you think is worth it, you can try to accept that bribe by placing out a bribe token on it. Once a bribe token is placed out on it, then we have to resolve that card by seeing if anybody wants to bump you.
So if I don't have any buttons, what do I do?
So currently you cannot make any offers. You are waiting for other people to make offers, and you can use that opportunity of other people making offers to earn yourself some buttons.
By doing?
By accepting their bribes.
By doing?
If our bribe isn't accepted, we get the money back, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
put
so
it 0,
right now-
so now we need to resolve that, right?
So describe the things that I'm going to do with my hand.
Okay, so you're not going to do anything with the cards in your hand
Okay.
during this phase.
Okay.
If you had buttons, you'd be placing out buttons.
I mean, just describe like using the pieces in front of me. What am I supposed to do right now?
Currently, you have no buttons. So what you are going to do is you're going to wait to see other people making bribe offers.
No.
If...
Use English words for just describe the thing that is in front of my face and tell me what to do with it.
So you have these 3 bribe tokens.
Don't use the word bribe.
Okay.
It was circular shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have these 3 tokens.
I do, yes.
So what you can do with those tokens is when there's buttons being placed on these cards here, you can place that token out to say you are willing to give them that card for those buttons. But when you do that, if somebody else has a token that is higher than yours, they can bump you off of that. Now, you do happen to have the highest token in the game. So you do have some ability to get some buttons during this phase.
And what's the positive or negative of putting a token on there?
The negative is they're getting a card. The positive is you are getting paid for them getting a card. That payment you get, you can use that currency in this phase, or that currency at the end of the game is worth victory points.
So we keep going till all 4 cards are claimed or no one wants to pay buttons at that point?
No, so we go until one player has used up all 3 of their bribe tokens.
Okay.
So we had a bribe token placed out here, which means we have to resolve this card right away.
How do we know whose token is whose?
That's why we have to pause and resolve it, because it'll be the one just placed.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sasha placed out this one. At this point, anyone with higher than 0 could bump Sasha. What Sasha's saying right now is he's willing to give either Eric or Matthew the Baroness and take 2 buttons for them getting that card.
Can I bump myself?
You could bump yourself. There's not much reason to bump yourself.
Well, I could play out all 3 of my bribe tokens and end the market.
So it's only the one that resolves the card that will be flipped.
Okay, so the ones I bumped come back to me?
Yeah.
And unflipped. Okay.
Yeah. Now, an important thing here is because neither Eric or Matthew are the highest bribe offer, if Eric or Matthew end up bumping, they are saying the other player is getting the card and they are taking the buttons.
And what's to make the player that wins the thing to help them with their choice? Just whatever the way the wind is blowing, or is there any way to incentivize them in the game mechanics?
Table talk is open here. So you could use it to incentivize, for example, Matthew, you might say to Eric that you're willing to give him the Baroness if he's willing to throw out his bribe token on the collector immediately after.
Sasha, if you give the card to me, I won't attack you.
I have a wall. I mean, sure, Matthew, do you have a better offer?
I have left 3 cards in my hand for attacks, if that means anything to you.
Now,
Uh,
an important thing to note while you guys are negotiating with Sasha here, Sasha hasn't necessarily won this bribe yet, because anyone with a higher token could bump Sasha.
And
but,
then is there
but
like
no one
a
will do that.
is there like a 3-2-1 all transactions are final? How do we close the window of opportunity to bump the token?
That is just each one of you guys has to say whether or not you're going to do it based off of your
Okay.
token values.
All right, so I think first order business, is anyone going to bump the 0 with a higher number? I was hoping to get the card, so I'm not going to bump it.
I'm not going to bump it because I'm not going to trash the card.
What does Sasha lose if that 0 gets used?
He just loses the 0.
It flips over, and then he only has 2 influence tokens left.
Is that for the whole game, or
Just this round.
That's no, just this market phase.
these 3 tokens are just for this one market phase?
Yeah.
And how many more buttons do people have?
This is it. All the buttons are out on the board.
Yeah, I have 4, and I've placed all 4 of mine.
There are not many buttons during this point in the game.
Okay.
Once my button hits the board, once he places the influence token, it's locked. I can't increase my button count anymore, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the downside of playing out my 12 is just do it.
There is an opportunity cost because Sasha's probably going to get buttons here, so he could end up offering quite a few buttons in the future. But yeah, that's the trade-off.
But I thought you said these 3 tokens were just for this market phase.
Yes, it is just for this market phase, but because Sasha's probably going to get buttons here, he'll have a total of 4 buttons, so he might offer more. You may end up seeing one player accumulate all of the buttons.
Oh, then later during this market phase, he could turn around and use those buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I see. Okay. I do not cover it with a 12.
Okay.
Was that?
So Sasha, who's getting the card?
Well, Matthew just said he had damaged cards in his hands.
And I drew one
beyond
from
that.
my deck. I have 4.
I guess, Matthew, if you don't send the damage my way, I will give you the card.
Deal.
Well, I'm not going to send the damage your way either. I have a card as well.
But you have a card. He has 4 cards.
Yeah, but you don't know what his 4 cards are.
That's true. But I'll take these 2 buttons.
So your pool of buttons goes up. You've lost your influence, and then I get the card. Is that right?
Orientation.
Okay. And now the market continues. Now
Does
anyone
this
can
refill?
Yep, that refills.
Oh, it
right
does
now.
refill. Oh man.
I'm going.
I thought it was just gonna be the 4 flopped. Okay. Hi.
All right, now we do have to resolve this one too. Would anyone like to give
Matthew is getting it.
or Matthew the yeah.
Unless I bump myself, I think I'm locked in for it.
So you actually can't bump yourself here. That does
Okay.
require there being other non-zero bids out there.
I think once the influence token is placed, no more buttons can be added to the market.
Is that the rule? Okay.
Yep. Sorry.
So I guess the decision here is which of the 3 of you want to
Does
earn
someone
a
else
button.
want to earn a button by bumping mine off?
Yeah, get that out of there.
I'll bump you up.
All right. It's a free button, guys. All you have to do is put something higher than a 5.
Nope.
Okay then.
Yeah, the question is, does Evan want to bump for 1?
No.
Probably not. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I get a button, you get the card. Oh, we stop right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He's got one in there. I'll bump the 0 with a 3.
Anyone get a bump to 3?
Looks like no.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
last
4.
minute decision. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Anyone bumping the 4?
Yeah, I'll bump it with a 9. I guess it's only up to Evan. He has the 12. You gonna play the
No.
12, Evan?
No.
Okay, so moved.
I
So
get the
lose-
card.
I
You
lose my
get the
token.
button. Okay. We stop. Oh, we stop.
Ah, okay.
After
was trying to throw
after
it.
that third one.
Did I get it in time? I was
Yeah,
I was
you
in the
got it.
air
You
throwing
got
it as the 0 was coming in.
I think you put it on my stack though.
Yeah, I was out of my haste to get it out of my hand.
No, it's my button now.
All right.
Nice. This is a valuable one, guys.
Bump
You
the
get
0?
2 buttons. You get 2 buttons if you bump the 0.
Yeah, I'm bumping.
Should purple go ahead and reclaim his button then?
I didn't throw mine out.
Oh,
No.
It wouldn't be
looking at the
until it
purple here.
resolves.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the person whoever wins the bribe could end up still accepting Sasha's.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even if I won, I
Yeah.
could accept my own just to trash the card.
Yours would have to be the highest for you to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's the 12. It's all sales are final.
yeah. So do you want to accept the 2 or accept the 1? Okay,
guess
I get
it's-
my button back.
Okay, the 12 is spent.
Mhm.
So Evan's gonna have a hard time winning him now.
Okay, now we're doing this one. I'll bid 1.
I'll bid 3.
Whoa.
Or what are these called again?
Yeah, you couldn't actually bid on that one, Sasha.
I was calling them influence tokens. What's the real name?
I couldn't bid
tokens.
on that one because
You're the only one with a bribe out there.
got it. I can't do that to trash it.
No, so there has to be at least one other non-zero offer on the card.
For me to trash it. Okay.
All right. So anyone want to beat a 3? I think it's up to Eric.
Yeah, because once somebody's done, right, then yeah, I'll take a coin.
Oh,
Unless
I'll
you want to
take a
spend your
coin.
10.
I'll spend
Alright.
my 10.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
I
getting-
get the button and I
getting the
lose my
card.
10.
Yep.
That's an interesting one.
I'll bump you, Evan.
Alright, I'll bump with 2.
I'm gonna bump with 3 to trash the card.
That's your last one, so I'll do the 4.
Okay, so moved. Now you get to decide which of the 3 of us gets it.
Alright. Pay 2 buttons, gain 3. I'll give it to Evan.
Yeah.
This is Fast and Furious.
Ah,
Oh, so we have a 1 on there. I'm not gonna override it.
I will. 1 second. Here's my 2.
Whose 1 is that?
Mine. Seems like you get it, Eric.
Okay. Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't get in on that one.
We're doing this one right now.
Whoa. Wait.
Yeah, Sasha threw it out first before you, Evan.
Yeah, okay.
So this one
Okay.
has to be resolved before.
Oh, I'm not gonna put it on there.
Okay.
Eric, do you want to bump Sasha and give the card to
Sa-
Sasha? Do you want Sasha to have to give it to you?
I want him to give it to me.
So, yeah, because that's how it's going to have to resolve.
I can't destroy it.
No, so you would have to have the highest non-zero, not tied.
I'd have to. Oh, got it. Because it's tied. Okay. Okay. You can have
Actually,
it.
But that
Alright, yeah.
and then the market phase is over.
Yeah,
No,
that
no.
will end. If
Oh,
it
will
is.
it?
Oh,
Okay.
that ends it. Okay.
And
should've-
all right.
Should have bid. Oh, well.
So take your buttons back if you have any buttons left out on the board. Eric, did you put your button on Sasha's board?
Sasha took it because I got the card.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that made sense. So now we have the orientation phase. Basically, your cards go to different places depending on that symbol in the top right-hand corner. So if they got the little green cap, they'll go straight to your hand. If they've got the horseshoe, they go to the top of your deck. If they have the crown, they go to your discard pile. If they have the little hooded guy, it goes to an opponent's discard. That's because all of those cards are bad. And then if they have the purse, they go to the bottom of your deck.
Boy, you guys really love me. You got two thieves
And it's
here.
from your orientation.
Hold on. That was a little fast. Could you do that again, please?
Crowns
Sorry,
are discard.
it's also the reference card in your hand.
Okay. Orientation. Send cards from orientation to. Okay. Okay.
And when multiple things are going to the same location, you just get to choose the order, right?
Yep.
So the bottom of my deck is the same as the top of my deck. Can I choose to like put things on the top of my deck before putting, or put things on the bottom of my deck? Like,
No.
can I? Okay, got it.
There you go, Sasha. That's your card,
My
Sasha.
discard.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you because you didn't sell me the card.
And
And then that goes to an opponent's discard.
Mhm.
Oh. All right, Sasha.
Another one. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, sure.
all right, you'll also flip your bribe tokens back over at this point. And then we move on to phase two. Phase two, you end up playing out the rest of the cards in your hand. And you get their bottom ability.
And I'm just reminding myself out loud I'm not attacking Sasha.
Yeah.
So there's only two left.
All right.
All right.
Here you- All right, Evan.
Is there any adjacency to consider that my neighbor, or is it everyone's
You
equidistant?
stole my. All right. Well, I'm destroying your toll. So take that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. Sorry. We got to go back on that, Eric. So this
What?
farmer, you trade it with one of the ones in the bag here.
Oh, I thought I got to trade it with one of the
No,
players.
there are
All
cards that let you do that, but they're cards you have to acquire.
What does
That
the
very
farmer
strong.
do here? Trade a bribe token, which is one of my circles.
Yeah, so you could take one of your zeros here,
Uh-huh.
and you get to pull a token out of the bribe tokens here, and then put one of your zeros into the bribe
So an
tokens.
available token is a bribe token from the bag.
Yes.
Do you want to put that 2 in there and shuffle up? Because that
Oh.
was the one that Eric just put in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because I know there's no zeros in there, so might as well.
And so the order that we do this is also like Evan should have done this before Eric.
Yes. Technically.
Oh, well. Sorry.
Does the order
And is
matter?
Matthew doing this? The farmer?
No, I'm not doing the farmer. I've
Okay,
got
well,
my cards lined up for.
I'll hope that my 0 doesn't become a 0. My 0 became a 2.
Wait, do I get to play my Mason now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Evan, you lose a wall,
Okay.
and then I'll play my other Mason. You lose another wall,
Whoa, I see.
and you lose a toll,
Whoa.
Oh my lord.
and you get hit for 2 damage.
Wowza.
So the damage is actually a different phase. Just
Oh,
remember,
sorry. Okay.
wait for everybody to resolve their cards, and then you end
And
up
they go to
dealing
the discard once I play them, right?
Yep. And you play out all of your cards. So this other one in your hand.
Yeah, I was just for the mental tax getting to it. So there are no tolls, so it does nothing, right?
Yeah. Yep. All right, so now if anybody has damage, you'll deal damage in the order of initiative. So Matthew and Sasha both have damage to deal.
All right. So I guess Evan takes 2 damage then.
Is that the 35 down on the
Yes.
bottom?
So at the bottom of your board, you'll see there's a health counter for you. Now, if he had moved you past one of those dark squares, he would get to take one of these rewards. These rewards have things like giving you bonus card draw, giving you victory points, giving you bonus buttons. So,
And they deal damage in order, right?
yeah.
And so then I am dealing 3 damage, and I'll do 3 damage to Evan to get a reward.
Yep.
Evan, I'm feeling like an alliance might be in order with the other half of the
It
table.
sure seems that way.
So this is just gain 5 buttons.
Yep.
Sure, I'll take a 5-er. And this reward token, does this go somewhere?
Yeah, you just keep it with you. Yeah, and then your cards just go into your discard pile, and we have finished round 1 of the game.
Cool.
So my hope is, do you guys think you understand the game at this point?
I think
More so, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we just start back at the top. Draw 6 cards.
I assume
If
it's
you
normal
don't have
deck builder
enough cards,
things.
you draw
Yeah.
everything you have from your deck, and then you shuffle your discard pile and draw the rest.
Six cards.
6. Yep.
Okay.
And are abilities optional?
Like if you got hit with a
Like
thief.
pay 2 buttons, do a thing.
Yes. Yeah. So pay the keyword on the cards means that you have the option to do that. Oh, by the way, the game ends once more than half the players have lost their thrones. That means they've been knocked out. You're not eliminated from the game, but that throne is worth 15 victory points. So whoever captures your throne gets 15 victory points. You have to have a throne to capture a throne. And if you don't have a throne and you last hit somebody, then their throne is removed from the game.
1 damage equals 1 wall, or is there a ratio?
1 wall is 2 damage. But the damage doesn't break the wall. The walls have to be removed by card abilities.
Okay.
Oh yeah, play out your cards in front of you.
Okay.
Just everybody let each other know when you're done playing out your cards.
I'm
I'm
done.
done.
I'm ready.
I'm not quite. I guess I'm ready.
Okay. Flip your cards over and resolve your abilities. Once again, you got the initiative factors. Initiative has changed a little bit here. 18, 17. No, it's still Matthew, Evan, Eric, Sasha.
I'm just gaining tolls, so I'm not part of the initiative right now. You put the tolls in the fortification spots, is that right?
Yep.
Eric, you can have those back.
I didn't get any of
Hold
my
on.
thieves. guys.
That's not at this point. That's later in the round.
No.
Oh.
No, so he used the ability on it. He can pay 2 buttons
Oh,
that-
okay.
to somebody else's discard.
Okay. Wait, you may not. Oh,
So he that first negative effect, but so he couldn't gain any fortifications this phase. But
I got it.
he
I got it. All right.
paid 2 to get rid of it.
Oh, hold on a second. That's right. I lost a card. Oh, well, I'd retcon something. I played 2 draw cards, not realizing I didn't have enough cards in the deck. Oh well.
Well, this went to his discard. How does that work? Like, when does this go to his discard? Can it go to his discard and then he draws it?
You are lower initiative, so
Well-
no. But I'm going to write that down.
I think that's a TTS mistake. If I was in real life, I would have realized I only had 1 card left.
Yeah, but it still is an interesting question because if you did have a card in your discard, you might want to play the extra draw card to get that
I'd say
card.
take one of those soldiers back right now, Eric, for just put one on me.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready for the next phase. How about everybody else?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Same.
I'm all.
Mhm.
good.
All right. Yep. So you signify that by just moving all your cards to the discard pile.
What?
When do
Oh,
you start the bidding phase?
I guess
as
once
soon as
Eric's cards are in the
those
discard.
cards in his discard pile.
Ready? Discard pile.
wait.
Go, 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 go. Everyone go, 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 go,
Hold
go. Let's go. No, I can't go here.
Can
Oh,
I give
no,
out
that-
my
So
own?
There's
Okay.
already a
As soon
token
as
out
one is
there.
placed out there, it does have to be resolved.
You guys can you can put one on top if you like. It's not final yet, but you can't put on a different spot.
Yeah.
If you
Alright.
put a bribe token on a card where you have buttons, can you decide to give it to yourself?
No.
You cannot give it to yourself, but if yours is the highest and there are other non-zero on there, accepting yours will get rid of your buttons and trash the card.
Doesn't
So
look like anyone's gonna.
yeah, we have to
overcome the three.
resolve this one here. Is anybody
we-
going to bump the 3?
So while
Giving
this is
buttons
happening, we
are-
can place buttons out on other cards. Is that?
No.
Oh,
Well-
it's like a game interrupt, and then we have to resolve that card slot.
okay.
Well, that's a 5. How did you get 5?
Yeah, right.
Well, if you guys aren't going to do it, it looks like the 3 is resolved, and the guy purple gets his card, and I'll get the button.
Mhm.
Yeah. This button went there. I was throwing it as fast as I could.
They're really. We need to take it a little easy on the buttons. I mean, as
Was
far
the
as
0
like
already there?
give people at least 3 seconds to put it out there before you put your
It's
bribe
simultaneous,
token on
man.
there.
Okay.
You gotta get good.
Okay, put it down. Okay, there we go.
Wow, it's got all 4. That's interesting.
This is actually a flicking game.
All right, so you've said it once or twice, so if you indulge me, so the person who put the 0 can't discard or trash the card himself unless someone else puts a higher value and then they top the higher value yet again, right?
It's the number of buttons that are here. You have to have the most buttons here, not the highest number.
Okay, so right now the 5 is definitely the
Now, if
most.
Eric wins this bid, if
Eric could trash
Eric
it.
wins this bribe, he could accept his own to trash the card.
And accepting your own, does Eric get these buttons?
No, those buttons leave the game.
So
Costly.
okay, he's not really accepting.
I'm passing.
I'll put a
I'm-
1 on there.
I'll take 5 coins.
Evan,
Yeah, take it. Take his
Take a
9.
Oh,
Oh, the king, he's getting his 12. Okay, well that's
Yeah.
that's the final.
Obviously, I'm taking
So,
the 5.
Evan gets to
Thank you. I get that.
we get our button back, guys.
Yeah. Oop.
Right.
Oh, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
we have a
Oh,
thing here.
it was
I
on there when I
misread.
put it
I
down.
misread. I was trying to read the card as I'm TTS hovering the mouse over.
Well,
it.
hold on. I'm gonna retcon, and I put it on there because there's multiple coins.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll bump your 1.
Right.
All right, and I think 9 is the highest, so moved. Okay, so I'm going to have to pick red or purple to get it, which are both the opposite side of the table. I'll give it to Sasha.
Okay.
So I'll take Sasha's coin. And I'll bump it over here.
Here's your 9er.
Thank you. All
Okay,
right.
we got another one down.
I got another one down.
Okay.
anyone bumping the 4?
Put the 5 down.
Whoa, sorry.
You're gonna bump it for the 8.
I'll bump it with the 8.
I'm not going to play the 10.
What do we got? 3 coins, or is that 4?
It's 3. 3, 2, 2, 1.
Come on, buddy. You know you want to give me the card.
I'll take the 2 from
Yeah,
from this side of the board.
that's right. That's right.
Oh.
Cool.
Interrupt.
I was in the middle of doing that. Okay. I'll put a 4 down.
I'll just put the highest 10 on it. Okay.
for it.
I'll take
It's
I'll
yours.
take the 2 red coins. You got it right.
Gets the cell sword.
Whoa.
And then that's the end of the round because I lost my 3rd one.
Get our coins back.
All right, orientation. Cards purchased this phase end up sent to locations based on their faction.
I don't know if this was covered. When is endgame?
It'll be once 3 people have lost their thrones.
Oh, okay. So we should be focusing on attacking.
Each throne you capture is worth 15 victory points.
How much is our buttons worth?
1.
Each. Okay.
Oh, it's 1 each? Okay, because on the scoring that's on the side here, it says 3 gold equals 1 victory point.
Yeah, ignore that.
All right, so it's one to
I
one
tried
on
to
buttons.
delete that like 3 times and it hasn't gone away.
Okay.
So I didn't get any cards that round, so I'm just waiting on you guys.
I'm playing 1.
Oh, we're playing our cards now.
Are we doing our?
Or-
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing
Yeah.
our cards now. Oh, okay. I thought we were doing the ones that we
You don't
just
have to be
earned.
played out face down during this phase because you have to play every card in your hand, Sasha.
Well, but there's like the resolving order, so I wasn't sure if that was like a.
All right.
It's
Evan,
not a
you-
review.
You lose a wall, Evan.
Okay.
Oh, and you guys do get to flip over your tokens.
And then do I do my damage now, or do I have to wait for something to resolve first?
Damage is done after all of the other effects of the cards are resolved.
Okay. You guys allied. I kind of missed it. I think it's red and purple versus green and blue. Did I get that right?
No, it's red and green versus
Got
green
it,
and
okay.
blue versus purple red. Yeah.
So I'm glad I
purple,
gave
blue.
it to you then, Sasha.
Yeah, we're allies. We're in this
Then
together.
I'm gonna hit green for a wall destroy.
You got to give me 2 gold.
Why?
That's not an attack.
He's destroying it with a card effect.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
the Mason.
So those are attacks, or specifically when they hit you with the damage during the next phase. It's technically its own phase.
I'm doing the
Okay.
merchant. I pay 2 buttons to take a card from the market.
Oh, that's nice.
I will take a Baroness.
And I'll go into your orientation. Yep.
And then
Well, I will go ahead and destroy a wall and a toll.
Wait, are you next in initiative? Don't we go by initiative?
No, this is a simultaneous.
Yeah,
no,
everything's simultaneous. It only matters with the initiative if there are 2 conflicting
Okay.
effects.
All right. I'm gonna attack Sasha for 3.
we're not attacking
And-
yet.
We're still doing the wall resolution thing, and then yeah, we'll move to
All
damage next. That purple
So-
line wants to destroy those 2 things of yours. I think he's paid the cards to remove a wall and a toll.
Okay.
And that now I'm done with all of my effects that I'm doing before damage. I don't know if anyone else has any. effects
Everyone
before
just has damage left, I think, right?
Yeah.
Damage it is and it's simultaneous, I assume, right?
While we
Yep.
do
Yeah.
initiative,
Well,
or
it's resolved by initiative because of those rewards.
Oh, okay. So Evan is
So
he's
yeah,
already
Matthew-
past the black
Matthew,
one.
Evan.
I'm just looking at
me,
where
then
he is on the
Sasha.
bonus track, right? So he's past the 31. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till he hits the 24, right?
Mhm.
Who knocked him past that black one? I missed that.
Sasha did.
I did. Yeah,
Ah, so you got the bonus. What was
Yeah.
your bonus?
5 money.
5 buttons.
5
No wonder
buttons.
you were buying so many things last round. All right, let's see how much damage I can do. I can do 5 damage, so I can knock him 1 before the bonus. Great. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't get the bonus there. Let's see what the other player board is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but I can't get through the wall, right?
Well, it's -2 to the damage, so you do 3.
Which gives me 1 before the bonus. So I
And
can't
does
get
the
a
wall
bonus.
apply to each person attacking?
Yeah.
I guess I'll just hit Evan then and give Sasha the bonus for
Mhm.
5.
Okay.
Eric, do you have damage this round?
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
I think you're next, right?
Evan doesn't have any cards to play.
Or do you have damage, Evan?
I have damage. Yep.
Okay. Oh,
All
I
right.
think
You're next. You're next.
Okay. I will do 3 damage to Sasha, which is 1 damage.
No, do damage to me.
Did you not play the smithy?
I played it. I just didn't pay the buttons.
Ah, yeah.
All right. So now it's me.
Mhm.
Evan, I have to do this in order to prevent Sasha from getting the bonus. So
Let's
I got to
see
deal.
how it is.
I got to deal the 3 damage to you.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what the reward is.
Some
maybe-
ally.
Uh-huh.
Oh, 5 victory points.
It's
Wow.
like 5 buttons, but not as good.
So he stabbed you in the back and he is now poised to win the game and beat you.
Mhm.
Did I understand
That's-
that right?
It's
All right.
my turn. I have 8 damage. I'll do 8 damage to Evan.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh my God.
1, 2.
Oh,
So that's one reward.
Is this end the game if a player is eliminated, or is there player elimination?
There's not player elimination.
Okay, so we're potentially one round from the end of the game should the current course of events continue as they have been.
No, so when his health is lost, he will lose his throne. He no longer has anything to defend, but he can still win by gaining more buttons than everyone else and with his champion objective.
Okay.
And the damage that he'll do instead of capturing a throne, which is worth victory points, will eliminate that throne from the game.
So that was the end of the damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all your cards should be in your discard pile.
So now we. When do I orient? Not yet. I wait until the next round of orientation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me draw 6 new cards. Okay.
I draw 7 because of my reward, right?
Yep. And then play out cards face down for phase 1.
When someone hits you and you have tolls out, is it per toll or is it just one?
It's
How
per
do-
toll. And those tolls are actually worded wrong. It's 1 button per toll.
So if someone hits me right now at current game state, they would have to pay 3 buttons?
Yes. And if they don't have 3 buttons, they can't hit you.
So tolls are almost better than walls.
They don't reduce the damage, but right?
Yeah, but if you can't attack, you can't do any damage. They're like an infinite wall at that capacity. You got to build up
Mhm.
to it, I suppose.
all right. I got to ask a question. What if you play the engineer and the saboteur in the same phase? My wall this one and this one. Will this one protect from saboteur?
So the wording on those means that saboteur would keep your engineer from working. So in phase 1, in phase 2, the engineer would stop the saboteur from working.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so have we flipped and resolved our cards yet, or are we still placing them out?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Ready.
All right, flip them.
Oh, I stole an extra.
Oops, those are 10s. How did you get 20?
Oops.
Now it's market time, right?
Almost.
Yeah,
One
once
second.
everything-
Everyone has to put their cards in their discard pile to show that they're ready.
All right, you get to have this one in your discard pile.
Yep, right on the top. It's fine.
Everybody ready?
1 second, sorry.
I grabbed them.
Did somebody move those two?
Yeah, I grabbed them.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm ready.
No free toll on that one.
All
Alright,
right,
anyone
got it.
want to bump a 1?
uh,
Yeah, I'll bump it with a 4.
nice.
It's 3 coins, Sasha, if you want them.
I'll bump it with a 5.
All right. I'll bump it with an 8.
Yeah.
Anybody want to beat an 8?
Yep.
Going once, going twice. Gone.
Hold the who.
I'll take the 3 coins.
Oh, I see how it is.
Well, I mean, it was just 1, right? Oh, it was 2. Shit. Oh, sorry. I thought it was just 1 coin.
Oh, thanks for I had the wrong pile.
Yep.
What pile is that?
Orientation. That's just the cards that
Oh,
have to resolve.
that's where the cards go that you've earned. Got it. Yep. Ah, I was busy reading my card. Couldn't get my stuff out. Oh well.
I'll go to a 4.
I'll go to 5.
Looks like Sasha got it with a 5.
Yep, pass.
So I take the 1, and Evan gets the card.
Doink.
And I think you lost your 5, right?
Yep.
It was already out there when.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to hover these in the air so I can get them out before someone. I'm just gonna hold them right here.
Yeah.
Sasha did this in the previous time that he play tested this game too. He likes to try to force this speed aspect to the game.
The less people have time to read the cards, the more I can take advantage of.
It's true, but
doing
you've
what I
also
wanna
played
do.
before, right? So you have
I-
that
I-
advantage.
I played this once a long time ago. I don't really remember what the cards
He
do.
played the first play test of it. In
I'll beat that with a 4.
Okay.
Beat that with a 4. I'll beat it with a 9.
All right. Only Evan can beat it if he wants.
I don't have any chips here.
Yes,
You
but
don't
you
need
have the
chips to-
influence if you
It
wanted to
is-
put your
yeah.
12 over the 9.
Oh,
to get 2 buttons or 1 button.
sure.
All right. Who's taking it?
Do you want the 2 buttons or the 1 button?
I will take 2 buttons.
All right. I'll take the card. I'm putting. It's out.
I was stacking them. They were already there.
All right.
Uh-huh. Anybody beating the 4?
I can't.
I will do it.
Go ahead.
And then I'll
The
take
2
the 2
buttons?
buttons.
Okay.
Oop, should
You
we
wanna
wait
flip the
to
next
play?
card?
I'm trying to get my pieces
There you
out.
go. Oh, there you go. Anybody want to beat the 4?
I can't.
To get, how much is there? 2 buttons? Yeah, there's 2 buttons. I'll beat the 4. I guess that's it. So I'll take my 2 buttons.
And no one can beat the 9.
Evan gets the card
Yeah.
for your orientation or whatever.
I'm on the steed.
Oh.
I'm on the steed.
Oh.
And no more.
Okay.
Anyone bumping the 1?
Yeah, I'll bump it with a 4.
Did that.
Matthew, you bumping the 4?
Is there's table talk in this phase too or no?
Yep.
So pick, I guess I can't retroactively do it. I was gonna say I could destroy the card, right? Because I have the highest stack
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
highest influence. I could make that card go out of the game.
Yeah.
Or who played the 4?
I played the 4.
What's the ability? It's a minor ability. I'll hope to win it, but maybe I won't. Okay, I'll pass.
All right. Evan, take it.
Yeah. Where's that 4 going?
Anybody want to beat the 4?
There are 2 buttons there, and it goes to Sasha. Yes, I'll beat it. Where's my 9? Oh, I already lost my
You
9.
used it. There we go.
You got it, Sasha. I can't separate these into piles. Get the right number.
Yeah. Wait a second.
Is it down or not?
Wait, my coins here weren't for that card. I didn't take them off from the card that was there
Oh.
before. Sorry.
Well, I cannot.
Yeah. Oh, crap. Give me these 2 coins. There we go.
There's one out.
All right. I'll beat it with a 4 and nobody else can do better. I'll take the 2 coins from Sasha.
I get my coin back.
Thank you.
Treasure thing.
Thank you.
I have 3 down there.
There we go. Nobody can beat the 5. And Evan, go ahead.
Oh, dang.
The coins kind of came out after the influence token, but whatever.
Oh,
That's the end.
that's
of that.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
And
there it goes.
spades. All right, orientation. Send your cards to their locations.
Oh, how do we put it at the bottom of the deck in TTS?
You.
Oh, really?
But if it
You
already
just-
if
You-
it hits the stack though, it's gonna do the whole deck.
It doesn't really matter since I only have 3 cards in my deck and I'm gonna draw it anyway, so.
Well, now we're doing phase 2, right?
Actually, Eric, there is a reason why it could matter. I don't know if the card's in your
Wait,
deck. Good.
who gave me, oh, the sympathizer was,
I give it to you.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Phase 2, play out the rest of your cards.
And destroy the top means trash, right?
Yeah.
Here, Evan. I'm gonna take your 12.
Wait, I thought it was from the bag, not from my guy.
It says trade with an opponent.
Oh,
The
fancy.
Baroness.
Yeah,
Fancy,
the Baroness
fancy.
is stronger.
Fancy, fancy.
And all
I
your
passed up
tokens are-
5 buttons for that.
Yeah.
Those all the One's out. I guess you lose a wall, Evan. You've got fewer walls than your compadre.
I do lose a wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a second. I made a mistake. I don't have those two.
Oh,
Oh.
that changes things maybe. Toll, 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 wall, wall. And over here we have wall, toll, toll.
Wait a
I guess
second.
I'll hit
No,
Evan
I
still.
totally I messed up. I was reading the blue instead of the red.
I
My
was like,
apologies.
how did you get walls in this phase? Okay, then I'll hit green then. I'll knock your one remaining wall out.
No, you won't. My
Did you-
fortifications cannot be destroyed this phase.
Bing bang.
Is there
Yeah.
something that says that? Oh,
Yep.
then
Yeah.
I'll hit red then.
Destroy wall and one toll. Sasha, I think I'll destroy your wall.
Right.
And then
So
Matthew, I'm
yeah.
destroying one of your tolls.
Okay. And the thief, I just lose 3 buttons, right?
Yeah. If you use that pay ability, you can send it to somebody else's discard.
Otherwise it goes back to mine.
Yep.
Okay. And everybody's done with that.
Oh,
Now we're on to
uh,
attack.
Sorry,
or no?
I have 2 destroy walls, but oh yeah, so Eric, oh you can't, I can't destroy
Can't.
yours. There's no walls to destroy, I guess. My mason's not doing anything. Okay.
All right. Then by initiative,
So Matthew, Eric, Evan, Sasha.
So I'll hit green because I can't hit Evan. I can't afford it.
So
Mhm.
Sam, looking at my hand, do I have to flip this over? Should I have already flipped this over if I want to use it this turn?
Yeah, I would flip that over right now before any of the damage is
Okay.
done.
Yeah, I'll flip this over. I played a total of 6 cards because one of them was a assassin, and then went into someone's discard. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay.
So do I
So
go or no?
Sasha revealed that he's the brute, which means he's going to have 2 damage for each card that he played this phase.
Which is additional 12 damage.
Yeah.
so
Okay,
that
do I-
means he no longer gets the top portion of it, right?
No, I still get the top. You just you know that I have the top.
But now you know he
Oh.
gets 1 victory point or
Okay.
per card in his deck or something.
Sorry, I'm gonna look at my person again.
So a couple of people did show up in the comments.
Oh.
At long last.
Nice.
Okay, so I think I
I
have the
probably
highest
should have
initiative.
seeing how I'm not playing.
So I'll hit Evan for 3 hold on. I can't hit Evan because I can't afford it. So I'll hit Eric for 3. So it
All right.
destroys a wall and hits you for damage, I think.
It doesn't destroy a wall, does it?
No.
No.
It
Also,
just
his
my
walls
wall
can't be
reduces
destroyed.
the damage. Yeah.
But
I do
it,
nothing,
it wouldn't
right?
destroy a wall anyways.
So
I
this
take 1
soldier,
damage.
this soldier does absolutely nothing, or what happens?
No, I take 1 damage. You hit me for 3, but my wall reduces it by 2. I'm gonna hit Sash. Oh wait, no, it's not my turn yet. Sorry.
No, it would be.
Oh, it is.
Matthew would-
Okay. All right, Evan, what are you doing? You're doing some damage, and you're next before Sasha, right? 5, 6, 7, 8.
I believe
Yeah.
so, yeah.
All right, and then Sasha, I'm hitting you for 3,
Okay.
and I get a reward for that.
I guess so.
Yep.
Plus 5 buttons.
Bing bang.
7 damage.
Well, I thought Matthew would be attacking me, so I don't have enough buttons to
I
activate.
can't afford it.
To
All your
activate my
tolls out there.
sellsword. So I'm dealing.
Here, are we allowed to give people money in the game?
No. You can do that during the market phase in a way.
But I can't just give them 2 coins and fund them.
Yeah, mercenary style. I'm dealing 3 damage to Sasha.
And I will deal 18 to Eric.
How many bonuses is that? 2?
Well, minus is that?
I did 20, but it's minus
Wow.
2.
All right, so 34, 18,
8 from cards
16.
and then 12 from this.
Yeah.
How many rewards? 3?
3 rewards. Yeah.
Champion abilities are supposed to be game
What is
altering.
this? Bonus
You
bribe
get
marker.
another bribe token out of the bag.
Well, but all the ones in the bag are bad.
Wait, so
Yeah.
does he get 4 or does it just replace 1?
Oh, that one's not bad.
He gets 4. It does increase the number of bribe tokens that Sasha has.
And does he still trigger an end of round if he flips 3 of them over?
No, he would have to flip all 4 over. He has to
Okay.
use up all. All right.
Are we
Cards to the
good?
discard.
All right.
So that was the end of the round. If Sasha has to go in 26 minutes, we should probably stop there.
All right.
Oh. I wanted to keep going. All right, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and is there any like final scoring you should run us through? I mean, obviously we, wouldn't have stopped there normally, but
yeah, so the scoring would have been the seizing of thrones, the number of buttons, but that can swing wildly from this point in the game.
Right.
Totally. Right now, couldn't really determine who would be a winner. Right now, based on what I was seeing with the decks, I'm actually really happy with your deck, Evan.
Yeah.
Like, if I had this deck, I would be super excited for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I've been paying closest attention to your deck compared to everyone else's. So I can't really even say on that. But yep.
Well, just for
Eric has lots of money.
Just for final scoring purposes,
Eric has a ton of money.
Yeah, I was going for that actually.
I definitely would have played all cards from my discard pile and destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have done a ton of additional stuff and then destroyed them.
Yeah.
Which will get me a bunch of endgame points.
Yeah, I think you had crazy potential for the very end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, I think we were probably actually, so we're on round 4. Based on the health totals out there, and the champions that are out there, there are probably only 3 rounds left in this game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or no, that was round 5. I think.
So
let's go ahead and move to feedback. Sasha, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it is cool seeing this game again. So yeah, I am curious to see what the sort of new artwork and theme, like once the art happens, like how that changes the feel of some of this. I guess the first and sort of biggest thing is it does feel like the simultaneous is sort of being forced. Because there's the initiative system, it feels like we're basically taking turns. But I feel like each time that I was about to start doing stuff simultaneously, I had to stop and be like, oh wait, no, because of initiative, I need to wait to do this. And so it felt like it would have been, I would have preferred if we just played in turns, because it's so much in each phase. Actually, it did matter the like order that we did it.
Okay.
It just felt I love simultaneous. I love trying to figure out how to make simultaneous work, but the way it was feeling, at least in this play for me, is it did feel a bit sort of uh forced rather than smooth. I think it would feel smoother if we just had turns. Yeah. I'll go to what I wrote down. Oh, little UI thing, not that big. Just the amount of card that is art to text is.
I've got a graphic designer working on
Yeah,
the card.
I figured as much, but I just wanted to mention that. Getting rid of cards at the beginning feels rough. Lots of medium to non-gamers don't like the idea or don't see the value in trashing cards. And so that's just something that, with going with this theme, that does seem more sort of family oriented or family. That's just something that I would be, I don't know, a little bit worried about, as far as if you're asking players to trash cards from their starting deck at the very beginning of the game. That might feel like a punishment. When I know oftentimes in deck builders, it's often really good. And I think that was sort of, it was supposed to be this balance to having a bad initiative. But I do think that there might be a disconnect there between some players. And on top of that, I also think coming into this game without knowing very much, it can be really hard to necessarily know what would be good to trash or what not to trash. And
Mhm.
I could definitely see myself like trashing things and then seeing other people use those cards and be like, oh, dang, I don't have two of those anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I had that. And I don't know. I just think that's an opportunity for some bad feels or bad experience on the first play.
Yeah, I was
Um,
expecting a first time play. I would actually dictate which cards were in there.
got
In their
it. Yeah, and so you just give the player with the lowest initiative less cards.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, but again, just as a perception thing, not like a balance mechanics thing. A player might feel like they're getting punished if they have less cards than other players when you're using it as a sort of
Yeah, they're
reward.
actually getting rewarded.
Yeah. So just something for perception reasons, just something to think about. Um, Squire seems like an immediate thing. What was the Squire again?
Squire let you trash the card
Oh
and
yeah,
card
yeah.
from the
That ability. I don't know. To me, it felt like I just wanted to play it right off the bat as soon as possible. Did Evan? Evan, did you use your two squares or did you keep
What do
squares?
they do?
I think they had 2 damage on the bottom, and then they on the top they would trash themselves and get a random card from the top of the
I used
deck.
I used both of them
Yeah,
to trash.
that card definitely feels like a just use it immediately kind of thing. Um, and so just as a card in your starting deck, it felt a little bit weird. Like, it's get 2 random cards. I'd almost prefer just getting 2 random cards from this deck at the beginning in the place of those. Um,
Quick question on
yeah.
that. If you had known what the rewards were that were out there that you could be getting by having 5 damage, right off the bat, would that have changed your assessment of that card?
Maybe a little bit, but it also feels a little bit arbitrary. Because if I have low initiative, then that's not going to matter.
Mhm.
Because someone will either get buttered up or be not in range of 5.
Okay.
And so I don't feel like, since I had the lowest initiative, I was going to be attacking after everyone else. I had no idea what sort of damage anyone else was going to do. So I don't think that I would have been able to make a smart decision.
Okay.
With that, I would rather gamble on getting a card that is better than a card that just does 2 damage. I pointed to that card specifically. I didn't mean, but I assume that if you got an assassin, you still give it to someone or a whatever they are.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Taking a card puts it in your orientation. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. Uh, just sort of reiterating, the all simultaneous feels too chaotic. It feels like we should just have turns based on initiative. That's basically what I said verbally. But yeah, that's definitely what I was feeling because we kept starting to do simultaneous stuff and then stopping, be like, oh no, we need to do this on initiative. So it sort of felt like we were doing turns, but I don't know. I felt like we lost a lot of the benefits of it being simultaneous. Tracking cards played when they changed locations. Not a super big thing, but just like with like my card, it cared about the number of cards I played on a turn, and I saw other cards that cared about the number of cards that got played on a turn. And then there's cards that will change locations during that time. Maybe having them change locations at like the end of the phase, or I don't know how the wording would be, but making it so that it's easier to sort of see how many cards have been played. So not having cards move partway through a phase or whatever.
I didn't explain this real well, but technically you play out all of the cards
Mhm.
and then you resolve their effects.
Got it.
So you would have played out your brute, resolved its effect before you actually move those cards. But
Got it. Okay. Yeah. And I guess that was just a sort of the worded clarity I didn't catch. But yeah. That's everything that I wrote down. Just a couple other little things. I'm sure if I listen to everyone else's feedback, I would have more things to add in. But I do feel like especially it does feel like one player gets sort of pummeled a little bit. It sort of changed my calculation. Like I was essentially 50-50 on if I was going to take out Evan with my 20 damage or if I was going to hit Eric really hard. I saw that Eric had a bunch of coins, so it's like, oh, I'll hit him for a ton. But like I don't know. I just sort of felt like I don't know. We were definitely hitting Evan a lot because he didn't have fortifications or walls at the time. And it didn't feel good to me necessarily. Like obviously I was getting rewarded for doing it. But I didn't feel like Evan deserved it. It just he's just vulnerable, and so I was hitting him and I was getting rewarded for doing it, but I felt bad doing it. So that might just be like something to like mechanics and sort of strategy wise, maybe that's fine, but just like player experience, that might be something, especially if you're doing sort of family weight-y things. I'd just be sort of careful about that because I think that could feel bad and be unpleasant experience for some people. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm sure that I'll have other. Oh wait, one other thing. I sort of felt like obviously this changed because I got the 11 out of here because I had low initiative, the cards that let you switch out initiative for things that were in here, everyone got to switch out like their lowest things into this bag before I got to switch things out. And being the person that had the lowest initiative, it like reduced my odds of being able to get out of my low initiative hole. If that makes sense.
Yeah, before I had this just pre-dealt out, so this was my first time going with this
okay,
kind of
the
blind.
the us getting random initiatives.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how much that would have changed that, but I would just imagine that if you have if each player has some bad bid token or initiative token or whatever, then they would be trading those in potentially early on in the game, and the person that has the lowest initiative gets last pick of that, and so they're going to have the most all of the worst tokens got put back in here kind of situation. So just something that I saw as being a potential problem. Obviously I high rolled and got an 11, but I think there was like the first one I pulled out was a 2, and it was like really bad in here. So So yeah, I guess a 7. There was 2 zeros, a 7 and 11. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there and pass the mic. I will have to tap out in probably like 13 minutes, but I will listen until then.
All right. Thank you very much, Chelsea.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Eric, Matthew?
Either one. Do you want to go first, Matthew?
Sure. Well, it was it looked very simple. I mean, I know some of this is placeholder art, so I was thinking at the beginning, you know, I know it's a deck builder, but what's gonna keep us occupied? There's not so many spots, but then, you know, that market really turned out to be a lot of the strategic positioning of how you end up in the game. It's and I don't think I've ever seen a deck builder where so many cards get put into population every round. So I can only imagine how big the deck you must have to have. I'll echo what Sasha said. I really wasn't a fan of the dexterity element to the market grab. I was doing my best to read the text on the card when it flipped to even decide if I wanted it or not. And okay, oh, actually that's good. And then I reach over to grab my things, and it's a stack of 5s, and then I try to pull 2 or 3 off, and it's already locked in. I can't move my chits. Someone's already placed a thing. So and it kept happening. So then I thought, well, I'll just wait till towards the end of the round where I have the most coins, and then I have a little more leverage at the end. And then it just happened that, you know, everyone kept triggering the end with the 3 flips. So then I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll use my coins next round. And then, you know, I've got 2 thieves in my deck, so they're stealing my coins pretty good. So I'm pretty locked out of a lot right now. I can't buy too much, can't earn too much. About all I have right now is high influence, which I don't know if that really helps me too much without something to spend on it. I guess I can earn the coins though with influence, but you know, only 3 times. The deck building was fun. I'm not the best deck builder, I'll say. I like Dune Imperium, but I don't always win that one. So it's a mechanic that I don't get to bring to my table too much because a lot of my group and area of influence, they're not big into deck building, but it is a fun mechanic, and it is fun to trash cards and to thin your deck and to move them into other people's discard. That was fun. It's a little costly, I thought, but because I already got hit with the 3 coin penalty, and then I had to pay 2 more coins to move it to someone else. I mean, I guess they're hit with the same penalty to move it as well, but I was thinking, well, what if I fatten my deck? Then the likelihood of a thief will be a lot less, but that doesn't seem to be very efficient the way it's set up right now.
I have not reached a point where I have started focusing on balance of any of the cards at all. So I might take away from that, the thief being a little strong at the current point.
I wonder if 2 influence tokens. I mean, there's some back and forth. Are you happy with the amount of game time that the market takes up? And aside from the fact of the dexterity element, let's say we did rounds or turns or some structure, are you still happy? I think we spent almost 40%, 50% of the game just resolving the market, and then the rest of the 50% was in all the other phases combined. At least that was the perception.
The goal of the game is for the market to be the primary aspect of the game. That's where a lot of the strategy should be and where a lot of the interaction should be. So I am kind of okay with that ratio. Your guys' was probably a little high from what I was imagining with the most recent change that I made. But it should really be like 60% of the rest of the game, 40% market, or even 45, 55%, because of just how the market's where the gameplay is.
Yep. And there was some learning curve that we had as a group to get the market, but then, you know, then it really seemed to be somewhat simple choices in a structured or non-structured way. You put your intent to take something, other players can share that, and then we have some kind of a back and forth. Will someone, play? You want the low bid, but you don't want to go in too early, and then eventually someone's like, okay, it's too valuable. Did it actually happen this game that anyone trashed a card that they won and they were able to get rid of it? I don't think we did that.
I trashed a card.
You forfeited the coins and you trashed it from the market?
Oh, in that manner, no.
Yeah, okay. So, because we spent a bunch of time talking about it, understanding it, and discussing it, and we never used it once. So, I'm sure it could come up in an edge case. I wonder if there could be a way to design around that so that you don't even need to, the rules
Actually,
tax.
first playtest that I included that's an idea that's been floating in the back of my mind. First playtest they brought up they would like a way to trash cards from the market. But this was my first attempt at resolving that. So
Right. Well, if you're looking for that, just a quick thought. It may not work, but I can voluntarily forfeit my. No, that's probably not going to work. I was thinking you could just voluntarily flip your token X side up, plop it on the card, and say this card's trashed. I forfeit something to do that, but now I have a lot of power to end the round quicker. So I don't know if that would work. The fortifications and the tolls felt really powerful if you can get in a position of money. And I guess assuming the other players spend down to their last few coins. If they always spend down to the last few coins, they can't possibly attack me because they can't afford to attack me. So I just wonder if there's an alternative that if you can't afford it with coins, then something else happens. At least you have a recourse. You're not just locked out of the action. Because if I suppose it's my inefficient play, but if I spend my last coin and all three opponents, let's say we didn't ally, are in such a way that they have one toll each, I can't attack anyone. I just wonder if you can design a way that there's no noob traps in that regard, that I haven't intentionally played in such a way, it's of my own choice, but not realizing that I've just locked myself, I've saved, 8 cards and it's going to be this massive turn. And then I realize can't use any of them because I can't afford it. So that's what I was just wondering, that, I happen to have one person I could attack. So it worked out, but I was pretty close to getting locked out of it.
okay.
Yeah. But hitting them for a toll did feel good. That the gain of, well, you're attacking me, I'm getting something for it. So that hit the feeling I'm sure you're going for. And the walls felt good, that the walls attain a little cheaper than the damage. So there's an incentive to build a wall. Otherwise, if the wall's nerfed at all, they're just not worth it. But I thought that was an interesting strategy. But I had fun. That was it's quite the Fast and Furious grabbing in the middle there. But the market, I think, is your definitely your unique element to this game, and definitely what you want to champion. Yeah.
Oddly enough, I don't know if it's specifically playing with Sasha, because I've seen him twice turn this into a dexterity game, or if it's actually Tabletop Simulator allows for the faster interaction, because when I've played on the table, I haven't had this experience, which is interesting.
Do you mind if I speak to that a little bit?
Read or have focused more on trying to read the cards, but yeah, go ahead.
I have to leave in just a moment, but I wasn't just doing it to be annoying. I definitely get that it was annoying, but it did feel strategically sound to me. Where my strategy fell short is I had such low initiative coins. If I didn't have such low initiative coins, I think I could have leveraged what I was doing a lot more. And that was just a matter of I got unlucky with my starting initiative coins.
That was also why I went with the initiative coins, was to try to break that strategy that you implemented in the first playtest.
But I feel like if I got lucky and got good initiative coins at the beginning, like Matthew, then I feel like I could have leveraged that strategy very effectively. it was like the fact that I couldn't end the market early that made my I wanted to end the market early. That was like what I set out to do because I wanted to limit the amount of cards that people could get. And so if I had high initiative, I would be able to get all three of my market things out. That was sort of the core of what I was trying to
Don't
do.
forget
is I was
though,
trying to
you
end the
started
market.
with fewer cards and you started with a thinner deck
Yeah,
because you had that lower initiative. Whereas my deck is so fat, I was barely cycling it.
yeah. Well, but I
Now,
also
now you're just bragging.
I don't think
deck
my
is
deck was
so
that
fat.
much different after the first round or two. I did get a decent amount of cards because of what I was doing. But yeah, anyways, sorry. I didn't mean to derail anything at all, but just
Not at all.
as far as how I was why I was doing what I was doing is I do think that I would try and do that in physical game as well. And I realized that Tabletop Simulator is definitely slower to sort of move things around, and so I could maybe leverage that strategy more in Tabletop Simulator than I could in a physical sense. But I still think I would try and do the same sort of thing, where I was trying to end the market phase as fast as possible by putting my bids down as soon as there was a spot that it could go, and sort of cause chaos and be able to try and thrive in the chaos rather than let people sit and think.
Okay.
That just like was my strategic decision.
All right. Bring that to Gamma. We'll see what happens.
The one other thought was, have you tried this, or maybe it's worth a try? Start the first round with 2 cards each, and then the second round with 3 cards, and the next round with 4, and the next round with 5, and then build your way up to the whatever the max is, or maybe there isn't a max or something. I wonder if that would ease us into the game. We would get the mechanics quicker, and it would also speed up the game because we would burn through the rounds a little bit quicker. I don't know if you've tried other hand sizes than 6, but 6 felt at least 1 card too much. I think 5 sounds about right. But then once I thought about that, then the second thought immediately it was, oh, I wonder if we slow eased into it and we ramped up to 5 or something, what that would feel like.
Yeah, I've played it at 5. 6 been where I've been playing it in the last half dozen playtests. But yeah. No,
I'm gonna take off. Thank you. I will watch the rest of the video later on. It was good playing with everyone. Talk to you later.
All right, Caesar.
Thanks, Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha.
All right,
That's all
let's
for
talk
me.
about
Thanks.
Sasha. No. No.
That guy.
Were you done, Matthew?
Yeah, that's all for me. Thanks. That was a fun play.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So here are the notes I took while I was playing. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I wanted the game to go on, so that's a very good thing. I feel like the game overall has a very strategic feel to it. And that's why I was confused, or I guess the first part of the game and what really affects everything is the drawing of your bribe tokens, which is entirely luck based. And it felt like a disconnect. It's I'm going to play this very strategic game, but the very first thing that I'm doing is drawing 3 tokens. It's going to completely define my game, and it's entirely based on luck, and I've got no input in it. And that felt like a little bit of a letdown for me personally. And so I would try to think of ways to either distribute, or I mean the whole game is an auction. I mean, maybe you can auction off the bribe tokens at the beginning or something like that, or maybe some other ways of making the bribe token distribution less luck and more strategic.
Yeah, this is the first time that they were ever drawn. I will probably end up going back to what I had in the previous method. There wasn't really a reason why I changed it. I just decided, you know what? Let's try to change it.
Okay. Well, what was the
what
old
was the
method?
previous
Just out of
method?
curiosity.
Each one of the 4 player boards has a specific set of bribe tokens in starting cards that they're supposed to have.
Okay.
So while it is out to you randomly, certain ones of those kingdoms, and they're all kind of balanced against each other.
The next thing I thought was, why not give us some more buttons to start out with, so the round one bidding would be a little bit more interesting. It felt like it was a little flat because nobody really had much money to do anything with. Especially those who weren't, two of us had no tokens to start, right?
Yeah.
And so basically they couldn't actually participate, and so maybe starting out with some buttons would help. Next note I had was the bribe buttons. It would be nice if there was some system or some way where I could clearly discern who put this out here. If I wasn't paying attention or something to that effect. It became less of an issue as we were going along, but initially I was looking somewhere else and somebody threw a bribe token out and I'm trying to figure out who put it out there. Then yeah, going to the market, especially with Sasha's tactic, at first I found it very frustrating because I didn't have any time to put any tokens out or do anything before the next bribe token had been placed on the board. And then I said, to hell with it. I'm just going to steal his tactic and make it my own and do it better than he does. and then I was having fun with it. I'm just like, all right. So I don't know, but it does feel like there should be at least, all right, the bribe token's been put. Does anybody want to change their bid or something like that? Should be maybe one thing to consider. A couple of the cards have some, well, not, yeah, a couple of the cards have really weird verbiage on there, and I just didn't understand why in the world I would play like the thief right here. It says lose 3 buttons, pay 1 button, move to an opponent's discard if I play it initially. So I'm paying 4 buttons to play it in round 1, or I can play it in round 2, where I pay 5 buttons for the exact same effect. So I'm just wondering to myself, why would anybody play it in the second phase instead of the first? It just didn't make any sense because the effect doesn't change and the cost just goes up by 1. And then like the verbiage on sell sword. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So my reasoning on the thief, you need the buttons going into the market phase. So the buttons are less valuable to you in phase 2 than they are in phase 1.
Oh, okay, but if you didn't have the 2 buttons in phase 2, the thief would go to your discard? Yeah. Okay. That makes okay. Having explained it, it makes sense now. When I read it, it just made no sense, and it also didn't make any sense because I had a ton of money, so I was going to pay it no matter what. And then so that like the verbiage on sell sword, pay 2 buttons, deal 4 damage to an opponent. Pay 2 buttons, gain 5 damage. And it was just really, again, it goes to the idea of gaining damage just doesn't make any inherent sense in my mind. It should be either deal damage or gain attack ability.
Those are the things that I'm willing to be.
Yeah, I know. I'm just pointing them out. I realize that they're just tiddly stuff, but
no, that's good.
I wasn't a huge fan of the orientation. To me, it never came to the forefront of my thought process when I was bidding on any of the cards, the orientation of where it would go. I didn't think about it strategically. It didn't seem to really factor into my decision-making process. It only created this whole sort of extra thing where now I've got to figure out if this card is going to the top of my deck, bottom of my deck, bottom of my discard. To me, I think I would look at it and see if you get similar comments, but with as much stuff going on in the game, I think orientation would be nicer if it was just go to your discard or go to your opponent's discard. Let's see. I felt the initiative should maybe look at being reversed, since the person with the lowest number of on their bribe tokens is already at a disadvantage. Then when we go into the attack round, and I've got a couple more comments on this. I felt like there was a couple things in here where it was creating a positive feedback loop for the person in the lead, having the opportunity to get further in the lead. One of those was the calculating initiative as the highest on your bribery tokens going first. It felt like that could create some balance in there by letting the lowest person go first. Some more things on that same topic. So when you attack and you get your opponent down lower and lower and lower, almost to the point that they're out of the game, the person attacking is gaining bonuses. And then if you look over here at Sasha, he's got +2 cards. He's got a bonus bribe number. It felt almost like he was getting a positive feedback loop for attacking people, when I feel like the person who needs the catch up is the one who's getting attacked. So maybe the person being attacked, once they lower a threshold, they can get the bonus instead of the person attacking, as a mechanism of balancing the idea that the person in the lead is just getting further in the lead by getting bonuses. The other thing I wasn't a huge fan of, again, going back originally, was I love the strategy you've created here. And so the rewards you get from dropping down low, I wasn't a fan of the random draw. For me, personally, I would like to see that more either fixed on the board rewards. Once you get down a certain level, you gain 1 to your card stack or whatever it may be, or some market of rewards that you can choose from. I'd like to have a choice in it rather than a complete random draw.
Once again,
and then
last playtest,
yeah,
I changed for no reason.
The next, and on that same topic, 5 bonus VP and 5 coins really. I think somebody made the comment when I drew it. It's like, I'd rather have the 5 coins, because since they're going to convert to VP anyway at the end of the game, and then I could decide during the course of the game strategically to hold on to them or spend them if I wanted. So, and maybe the 5 VP bonus. What's that?
A thief could take them, so there's a little risk.
That's true. Okay.
But the coin one, I think, is coming down. It's dropping from 5 to like 3.
Why, do you know the designer or something?
Let's see. There's a last note, and this is kind of a minor note, and it's more of a personal feeling. I felt like the card selection was just a smidge to the take that / negative than I prefer for deck builder. I don't know if other people feel that way. So if you get a lot of that comment, maybe balance those a little bit. But I could be completely wrong. I'm just going off personal feeling, off of half of a game. So that could be completely wrong. But that I wanted more positive cards, and then there was points where it'd be 2 or 3 negative cards were in the Bazaar deck. So I didn't really feel like bidding on anything because I didn't want them in my deck. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed. I mean, notwithstanding everything that I've said, I really enjoyed the game, and I look forward to playing it again.
Awesome, thank you. Quick question for you on the last thing that you mentioned on the take that. Are you talking specifically about the spy factions that go into your opponent's deck, or other cards?
Yeah, and stuff like the assassin, destroy. I'm gonna have to destroy the top cards of my deck. Yeah. So that's a spy. Okay.
Yeah, any card with the little hooded icon in the top.
Okay.
Right-hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. And this could, I mean, again, it could just be a personal preference of mine that I prefer to focus more on myself than on my opponents. So maybe the take that was a little heavy-handed just for my personal taste, but it's actually fine in the game.
I think right now they represent like 22% of the deck.
Okay.
So there might be some room and some tuning there.
Yeah,
that's all I had. Evan?
Cool. Yeah, so let's see. There's a couple things that you do at the beginning of the game that for me are kind of things to avoid. Just because first play is going to have players who are uninformed as to why they would be making the decisions they're making. So when you're trashing cards from your deck at the start, not only did it slow down the start of the game, which would be nice to get rid of, also people just didn't understand why they would be trashing one card or over another necessarily. I mean, you can give people time to look through their deck and really think about what kind of strategies might unfold. But again, that just slows down getting into the game. And so I'm not sure starting off with trashing from the deck is a good way to go. Yeah. Same thing with picking a leader at the start. You give me 2 leaders, and I'm like, I don't know. This one, I guess. I would definitely just use one of the, more. I mean, I think they're better in the current game design trend is if you have something like that, you keep the 2 options until a certain trigger in the game, and then you have to pick them when you would actually have more information as to why you would pick one over the other. So for example, if I can hold on to both of my champions until I wish to reveal one, that's when I would make the choice. Okay, I'm going to reveal one, and then the other one goes away. Now this is my champion. That kind of thing. That would be a good moment
I hadn't thought about that.
to be forced to make that choice when I actually have more information as far as like how has the game been going? What do I, where am I at with my deck? Like I have both of those pieces of information from the beginning, so it does inform what you do, and you probably have a strong idea of which one you want to do, or you might have a strong idea, or you might not, and that's okay too. But for the people who wouldn't have a strong idea, this just helps them onboard their first play a lot nicer, where they're like, okay, I have these options. I don't know why I would pick either one. And then at a certain point, it's like, ooh, I really want to do this immediate ability. Is that final scoring thing good for me too? Okay, I'm gonna do it, or whatever. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah, again, no buttons to start. I agree. You can use that to balance player turn order instead of trashing. Start with 1, 2, 3, and 4 buttons or whatever. I think the bazaar is the crux of your game, but it's still not quite right. Just the way it unfolds is herky jerky, rushy, stoppy, in a way that is exacerbated on TTS, but I don't think only exclusive to TTS. I suspect I would feel similarly in person. And so there's lots of different ways you can, change it and try and see what you think. The first thing that came to my head is once someone puts down a bribe token, those are the circles, right? Once someone puts down a bribe token, that would be like a call to auction. It's like, okay, all right, we are now bidding on this one. Does anybody want to add anything? Nobody's putting stuff on anything else. It's just like, all right, here's what we're doing. We are now auctioning off this card. You have the chance to add buttons, but not remove buttons. And then once everybody's done adding buttons, then the caller makes the call. It just it kind of it leaves the like action where you're like, okay, we're bidding on this one. And you can still rush that, but then people can't be out dexteritied on their capacity to get into an auction on a card. Because I don't feel like the crux of your game is a dexterity game.
No. What I've been trying to address. Yeah.
So that's one possible way of handling it is, okay, we're bidding on this one. Any last minute bids? Last minute bids? Who's in? Oh, he upped it. Anybody else? And then once everybody's done, then the person makes their choice. That's one way to handle it. order versus no order. I think this was true last time as well, where I think, simultaneous play just doesn't feel right if it's not simultaneous. If there's enough exceptions, then it just becomes a little like, wait, is there an exception? Is there an exception? Is there an exception? No, no exceptions. Okay, simultaneous. And you've already broken the whole point of simultaneous at that point. It either is simultaneous or it is not simultaneous, and it should be kind of full stop true. So personally, I think simultaneous is freaking awesome and would be something to strive for. But it does take a lot of curation of what abilities you can and can't do, or the method in which you can or can't resolve things. There is a lot. It does put you into a box. If
Yeah.
you want to like fully execute simultaneous, it does place you into a design box. I suspect it would be worth it for this game to do that. Because I'm imagining, where I lay down my cards and I execute on my cards, then you lay down your cards and you execute all your cards. Like simultaneous just sounds like it would be better. So
Yeah.
it might be worth the sacrifice of those abilities or the specific execution of certain abilities that does require turn order.
Okay.
I wanted more trashing capability. Obviously in a deck builder, the capacity to trash is a very, very well guarded thing, because it is so strong. It is so strong. But I wanted more of it.
Personal deck or market?
Personal deck.
Okay.
Yeah, personal deck. You have a scenario right now where initiative can tie.
The tiebreaker is the highest single.
Highest single. Okay, I think that's a pretty slick answer. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's very easy to remember. Yeah, super easy. I definitely agreed with who was that, Eric, who was like, when you're dropping below those thresholds, instead of the person hitting you getting the reward, I feel like it should be, like an aid or a, resolve token instead of a reward. Because you definitely are incentivizing certain play type. And that play type is, Matthew says, in this first phase, I destroy all of Evan's defenses. And then everyone else goes, sweet. He's the one without defenses. We will all attack him. Which isn't the end of the world unless those people are also getting all of the, like it's like it just, and even at the end of the game, like I don't know if it actually hurt me that much. Like mechanically.
Yeah, the catch-up mechanic is when people are no longer attacking you, you no longer have to defend. So you're just focused on accumulating victory points instead of trying to defend your victory.
Mechanically, I don't know if it's an issue, but play feeling, I think it is. Yeah. It just doesn't feel good to get piled onto with attacks. Even though like I was noticing, like I don't think it actually matters overly much with scores and stuff, but it doesn't feel good. Yeah. And I think that does matter. Orientation. I hadn't thought of it until I think maybe I forget who said it, but the orientation, I can't think of a compelling reason why you can't just put the card in one of the 5 spots that you're supposed to put the card when you gain the card, other than the way your spies work. Because, but I don't know. I think I think there's an opportunity to get rid of that whole, to sidestep the whole orientation thing and just like immediately resolve the card and put it where it should go. This card goes on top of your deck. This card goes in your opponent's deck. Good work. You know, you've done it. This one goes into your hand. Awesome. Nice. I love it. Like, let them be good. Don't make me wait a turn to like do the thing, and then it gets rid of a whole weird phase. It's kind of like an extra little thing. Okay, and then the last thing, all V1. That was for damage. The last thing is the bidding, the bribe tokens, the circles with numbers.
Yeah.
I think you have an opportunity here. I don't think it's quite right yet, but I think there's an opportunity here for a game with very, very, very broad love, because of what you could be doing with these tokens and this bribing market. I don't know what the correct answer is, but here's what was in my brain. Somebody puts out, okay, we're starting bidding here. Everybody adds whatever they want to go. And then also during this adding, this is also up for grabs, which you already have, right? And I go, hey, you know what? I want to be the one who's gaining the buttons and whatever. Cool. Awesome. But I will never get this 3 back. I will take the 1. Right? So I just sacrificed 2 initiative in order to be the person who's going to be gaining that benefit. And then, whoever, if somebody else is like, well, you know what? I want those 5, or however many, I want all those buttons or whatever. And basically, so your participation in the bribing decreases your later potential to do bribing, which to me makes sense. And it kind of mitigates that win more initiative thing that a couple other people had mentioned, where if you start off with an 11, a 10, and an 8 token, like your likelihood of having that change significantly isn't very high. And if you start off with a 0, 0, and a 1, your likelihood of changing that very significantly also isn't very high. And you want to be able to play with that market in a way that is meaningful. And so if I start out with a 0, a 0, and a 1, well, guess what? I know those are getting upgraded. I know those are getting upgraded because somebody is going to, because I'm going to lay that thing down immediately, right? I'm like, oh, I'm out. We're bidding on this thing. And somebody's going to want those buttons. Somebody's going to give me their 3 or their 5 or whatever. And then I'm moving up in the world and they're moving down in the world. And so you kind of have this natural balance. Of course, it depends on what the card is and who wants it, and all those things also factor in. But if you do this kind of swap, I think that goes kind of in the direction of what I'm talking about. It might not be the correct way, but that's an example of kind of like more closer to what I'm talking about. Let's see. The weirdness with if you are bribing a card that you have bid on, you might be able to just get rid of, if it's not an important thing. None of us did it. If it's not an important thing, I would just ditch it and say you cannot bribe a card that you are bidding on, or whatever.
Before it's just been you can't accept your own bribe.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
unless it really is important, I would just ditch it.
Hasn't been. I
Yeah.
haven't had it in any other game until tonight. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
I finally decided I had a good enough idea to explain it, and then I explained it poorly, and it really didn't add anything. So
Fair, yeah. But that's what I've got. I still feel like, to me, I don't care what the theme is because the potential for this market, is so cool. And then I also like deck building. So a market, basically you've got like, my brain kind of goes to like Raw the deck builder, where you've got like the bribery and the market acquisition of new stuff is kind of like the crux of the game, but the game that you're playing is a deck builder.
yeah.
And I think this is has the potential to be a really, really, really well loved um, game if you like if few things get honed in.
Cool. Awesome.
If I could just add really quick to the last point you were making, Evan. Um, for me, the idea of trashing the card by winning the auction, there's two reasons I never did it. Number one, the costs seem too high. I mean, even if I won it with to win it with the most coins generally meant at least 3 for most of them, which would have meant giving up 2 coins that I could be bringing into my stash and paying 3 coins to trash a card. So that's 5 victory points I have to give up to do it. So it seemed like too high of a cost. And the other problem that I ran into was for this, I've got to track 3 other people building decks, and I just did not have, there was not enough public information. And to the extent that there was information out there, there was too much of it for me to track to figure out within the game whether or not it was worth it to trash a card that somebody else wanted.
Yeah.
All right. That might actually be the reason why like it just hasn't mattered in the past. It's been something that like I had a couple playtesters say they're used to being able to trash cards in the market. So they're like, I'm surprised I didn't see a way to trash cards in the market, but also it never seemed to matter to the game. So that might be why. That does make sense.
Yeah. I think the other thing I really like, which isn't exclusive to your game, but is not highly used, that I think is really cool, is the top ability, bottom ability on the cards. You the phase 1, phase 2. It's not the only game that has it, but I think it's dramatically underused, and I think it's a really cool mechanism that I think really adds a lot to the play experience of your game as well.
I absolutely agree with that.
Cool. Any other things, Sam, that you kind of wanted us to experience that we didn't experience, or any questions that we didn't really bring up that you were kind of wondering?
No, I having gone through only half the game, really.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised to see that we only saw one champion ability come up. Typically it does end up being like that second half of the game because you don't want to reveal what your victory point condition is. Well, they can still keep those cards out of your deck. So, no, I think generally like a lot of the questions that I was wondering were answered. The decisions for some of that random stuff with the setup was definitely just to see like, could I do this for a faster setup and would it still have the same effect that it had before when I didn't have a random setup? And the answer is no, the trade-off is not worth it for that setup time, especially because that setup time is really only a matter of like a minute. So generally thinking. I'm really happy to receive the feedback that I received from you guys. Is nobody told me to burn this game, which I'm happy about with the stage that I'm at. Especially because right now I'm on the precipice of like actually putting money into it.
Yeah.
So no, I think you guys gave me a lot to think about and try to further refine.
Cool. What are your big takeaways?
Oh, big takeaways. So there were some cool ideas. Your idea about the champions is something that I've just never thought about before. I doing the champions this way. I mean, I ripped that right out of Terraforming Mars. So
Yeah,
the way
and it
that
got
I'm doing right
basically
now.
it's just an updated like
Yeah,
design
yeah, and
trick
I've just,
that came
yeah,
out in Arc Nova and a few other games.
I have yet to play Arc Nova.
Yeah.
It's probably a mistake seeing how well received it was when it came out. No, I definitely saw some of the stuff. I definitely, man, the market's just so tricky. So tricky to try to get right. But I appreciate all your guys' feedback on that. I appreciate seeing that, like, while it looked like the market might have been fixed based off of my last several playtests, if you put it in front of the right person, it's definitely not fixed. So I've gotta try to work on that some more. So I think my big takeaway is it's okay to put a little bit of money into it right now. But for the refinement, also the just the timing thing. Those cards. I liked having the diversity, but I think that may be my darling that I need to kill. Because that's kind of what I was looking for here. That's really what I was looking for in this playtest. Is I've reached the point where I've got to know, hey, do I have darlings in this game that need to be taken out? And I think it's the timing or the resolution of the play. So, Evan, I hope you don't mind. You may get some consultant questions about that in the
Oh,
future.
totally, man. Totally, yeah.
So,
Definitely. It's really tough to design out timing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing was just I think I have played in every other playtest of this game so far. So that was definitely very useful for me. Just actually being able to look at what people's decisions were, or the lack of actually acquiring what I would have found valuable information before making decisions. So yeah. No, thank you guys. Thank you guys a lot. I think you've definitely helped me take the next steps that I need to take.
Awesome. Cool, man. Yeah. Let's tell the kids at home how they can find and support what you're working on, Sam, and buy your first game.
So yeah, if you have any thoughts about this game, please throw a comment down in the comment section of the YouTube video. Oh yes, we forgot to say that Ryan did have feedback on the game. He said that it's a game, which, that's feedback I do value actually hearing, because how many playtests have not been a game before?
You can't
Too
trust
many.
that Ryan guy, though. He
But
literally
no.
stopped by my house with some stuff while we were starting the stream. He dropped off some stuff for me to put in my fridge.
Yeah, so drop a comment down in the YouTube video for this, or if you want to reach out to me directly, aroundthestump@gmail.com is my email. Samuel Barmettler on Facebook. I'm in most of the design and play groups. And then also, if you decide I make games that you're interested in playing, I have one out called Outrun the Bear. It's available on my website, outrunthebeargame.com. I also have a cool little pin if you just like general merch. So there, I'll show my sweet little unsatisfied bear pin. But yeah, no, that's me.
Awesome. Matthew, how can people find and support what you're working on?
Sure. The game is called License to Krill. The game comes in a whale plush, and the whale is central to the mechanics of the game. It's krillgame.com, and I'm looking to kickstart sometime later this year.
I think that plush is going to increase your sales more than you expect.
Well, it wasn't the main goal, but because it was very thematic to put in. But then I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, I've got this whale, I might as well leverage it, and
Yeah.
it just now it's a hot potato. Now it's the game case, and
Yeah.
I'm close to naming it too. The Facebook group is voting on it, and I think we're close.
Eric, how can people find and support what you're working on?
Sure. On Facebook, if you go to Sacramento Board Game Designers, I'm on there. I'm also on many of the game design Facebook groups as well. So you can find me on Facebook, the easiest way. And yeah, right now I don't have anything to plug. I'm still in the process of pitching a couple games, and we'll see. We'll see if this year is the year when it happens. So.
And Sasha, who we heard from earlier, I think you can reach him at S&E Games. I don't know if that's a .com or if that's an Instagram. I have no idea. I think there's a link in the show notes to their Discord, so you can go there and find it. But Sasha Gelton also joined us tonight. You should find his game Dovecote or Dovecot, and help him realize that dream. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us. Let's see if anybody is still left in the chat saying.
Where can people find and support you, Evan?
Oh, I always forget about that. You can find my game After the Empire, and the co-designer Ryan was in the chat tonight. You can find our game at your local grocers aisles / game stores, and buy 47 of them. And then we have our first expansion coming out in the next couple of years whenever Grey Fox decides it's good to go in their pipeline. And then I have several other games coming out in the future. And I will tell you more about those when those become closer to being available. But if you want to come on the show, drop me a line. If you want to buy my game, go to your game store. That's what I've got. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for coming on again, Sam. Good to see this game. And Eric and Matthew, thanks for coming and joining and helping play.
Thanks for having me.
And Sasha, of course, too. All right, everybody. We